we have been working on for several months. Orange County Sheriff's Office, Webster County Sheriff's Office, and the Greene County Sheriff's Office. And that is a Sheriff's Critical Incident Response Team. And what it is that any time that we'll have, I'll give you some basic examples of an officer-involved shooting or another critical incident involving an employee, one of our agencies, this team will respond and will provide the investigative services and three different perspectives of the actual scene itself. So what we're trying to do is give some public transparency to what we do in our investigations every day. I'm not familiar with any other agencies that are doing something similar to this, because it is involving three agencies. And I believe the Office of the Sheriff is one of the most transparent offices in law enforcement, because the sheriff is elected by the people. So we feel that teaming up with two different sheriffs that are in adjoining counties, that we can show that transparency to our constituents and let people know in the day where the questions of law enforcement actions are happening every day, that we're trying to be as transparent as possible. And we're also doing good teamwork by working together, pooling our resources, because we all don't have enough resources to do what we need to do every day. With this team, we're collectively going in to train our investigators responding to these cases, and we've already started that process with our detectives from each agency working together, and we will approach these as a team approach. Each incident, which wherever the location is, if it's in Orange County, then the Orange County Sheriff obviously will be the scene commander, and then deputies from each agency will be involved. So I'll take any questions. We will take any questions.
Has the team been put together yet, and how are you choosing who's on it?
Well, the team has been put together. We have met, we have laid out some guidelines on training. We have set some goals. The investigators have met, and we're going to start working and training together to get these things accomplished. So the first initial process was to put together a memorandum of understanding between the three agencies, and that was accomplished. And now we're moving forward with the implementation of the training and the selection of people. It'll be up to the individual sheriff to select people that's involved. It will be mainly investigators from our criminal investigation divisions.
What gave you the idea, or was it a certain event that kind of sparked this initiative?
You know, it didn't. You know, and I can say for Greene County Sheriff's Office, we've always investigated our officer-involved shootings, our critical incidents. But this day and time, it is a good thing to show some oversight, to show that we have some transparency. In talking with both my neighboring sheriffs, we came up with this game plan. Thought it'd be a good idea to start it as a pilot project. We are neighboring, so we do a lot of things together already. We share a lot of resources. We do joint investigations in each other's county every day, and so it just seemed like a natural progression, and so that's where we started.
Would there be anything besides the officer-involved shootings? What else will you work together on?
Any type of critical incident. I've listed out some things in the press release. One could be actually being an officer being shot at, discharging of a firearm, or a use of force, some type of use of force involving a deputy and someone else. So any of those categories.
All the incidents across the country over the past year or so, have those played a part in this plan?
Sure, you bet. You know, you look every day across the country, people are questioning what law enforcement is doing. We've done great strides in each agency having in-car cameras as much as each agency can afford, because those are expensive. We've done a lot of those things that are transparent, especially to the counties that we work in. But this is just another added layer. It is a unique thing because as I said, sheriff's offices are unique. We're the highest law enforcement official in the county. We're the only law enforcement person elected by the people. So we answer to our people. And that transparency between three sheriffs, I can tell you there's not going to be any cover-ups or anything like that, because we all elected, and the only thing that we want to do is put out the truth and the right information. And so, I don't think there's any more transparent office than the office of sheriff, especially when it comes to these things, and now you have three involved. So,
Why not use a outside agency to investigate these reports?
we are, there's three agencies here, so there's two outside agencies on each case, which you won't see anywhere else. Normally we'll see one agency come in and do it. Now we have three actually in the process of actually investigating.
Will the highway patrol still be involved in some of those investigations like you have in the past?
If it's a motor vehicle type thing, that's where their specialty is, so they will. The highway patrol in years past used to shadow our investigations. They no longer do that, and so that's what's prompted us to come in this cooperative agreement, and so that's why we're doing
Are you
So these
working-
deputies that are going to investigate, they're only going to investigate after the fact?
it. They're investigating as soon as it happens. They will be responding, and they will do everything from the crime scene to the interviews and to the presentation of evidence to the courts and to the respective sheriffs.
Will there be any more training for the deputies on how to use or when to use use of force?
You mean in general?
Yeah.
We do that every day. Each agency has their own program on a policy on use of force, and that is up to the individual sheriff on what training they acquire for that.
How will you ensure that the team represents various aspects of the community? Various populations in the community?
Well, I don't understand that question.
Is it gonna be all white deputies on the team? Will there be an effort to make it a diverse?
Well, it will be who we have as investigators, so there's no selection. We're gonna put the best investigators, whether they're black or white or what, on the team. So that doesn't really factor into our choice of who's on that.
Do you think this will cut down on investigation time as a whole?
I think it will. It's basically sharing resources, and instead of having two people on, we're now gonna have six people on an investigation that'll, be able to move through it thoroughly, but hopefully quicker and more efficient.
And so people shouldn't look at this as the other two counties checking up on the other county. They're conducting their own full investigation.
It is, basically the investigators will go in as a team. They will have their set duties, two may be assigned to crime scene, or maybe two assigned to interview the officers involved. It just depends on the situation. They will present that information as a packet to the prosecutor for the prosecutor to review. So we'll still have that extra set of eyes in the respective county prosecutor's office to review what we do, just like we do now.
How was your Greene County's last officer involved shooting, who investigated that case?
Our Greene County Criminal Investigation Division investigated, and then our Professional Standards Division did the internal affairs side of it.
So now this will be on top of all of those that other team that does it?
This will replace the criminal investigation that our detectives would normally do. It'll be all six of our deputies, six or more of our deputies doing that investigation.
And how many of those cases have there been in Greene County?
Greene County, probably, Kathy, in the last couple of years, maybe two or three. And the sheriffs probably can answer one of one.
We've probably had one in 20 years with an officer involved shooting, so it's been quite some time.
When will the team be ready to go?
Well, we're working on now coordinating some of the training, so should be ready to go as soon as we get the training done and our protocols finished, so hopefully very soon.
Are you looking to kind of maybe expand this in the future with some other surrounding counties, or do you think it'll just remain the three counties in general?
You know, at this point, we want to call it like a pilot project and see how it works. It gives us several advantages. One, we're working together more, we're training together more. Criminals don't know boundaries by county lines, and we realize that. So we'll look at it and see. We want to kind of start it off, see if we get all the protocols in place, get the proper training scheduled for everybody, so we can work together and then make a decision. It'll be up to the three sheriffs to decide that.
Sheriff Cole, Sheriff DeLay, how does this benefit your department?
Well, from my point of view, it gives me an extra resource. We work, and my county's a lot smaller, we work hand in hand with the highway patrol every day. And one of the issues that was brought up was us, well, why don't you just have the highway patrol do it? Well, if we're involved in a shooting, the highway patrol is probably involved with us. So this gives me another opportunity to have somebody that's completely outside my county to come in and investigate it, and that's an option I've not had before. So it's very beneficial to us.
And as far as us, I mean, it's just a matter of manpower and resources. Like I said, we haven't had an officer involved shooting in quite some time. Just having the ability to be proactive in case it does happen. We now have a vast amount of resources. We're probably about the same size as Sheriff Cole's office, and we simply don't have the people if something like that was involved to handle that investigation completely on our own, as well as day-to-day investigations or anything else that may happen during that time. So just having those available resources can be a huge asset to our office.
And it benefits Greene County Sheriff's Office because of, several times in the shootings that we've had in the past, it's been the detectives that has been involved in the shooting. So we've had to stretch out and get people from different areas within the sheriff's office to help investigate. And this gives me resources that we don't have. Any other questions?
Do you think there may be any type of setback at all for this, or you think it's all pretty much positive?
Well, I think it's positive. Like I said, I don't think you can go anywhere and see that there's three agencies involved in a situation. It's usually one agency, and they'll have another state or federal agency come in and oversee it. They've got three agencies and three people that are accountable to the people that they serve. So it doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any better, more transparent, and like I said, we directly answer to the people. So if there was something to go awry, then we don't want to have that. So that's why we want some transparency, some group cooperation. Anytime that you can work together to get a goal done with resources the way it is today, we're going to do it.
And you said highway patrol is no longer shadowing investigations. How long has that, I guess, not been a policy?
That's probably been 5 or 6 years in effect. Just kind of give you a past history. We've always investigated our own, but we've had the highway patrol kind of shadow the investigation, review it, and send a report to the prosecutor's office. And they don't do that now, so it's difficult for us to have. And the bottom line is, in our area, we're very well blessed with resources. And the highway patrol, Troop B, covers 18 counties, and so their DDCC may be 5 counties away south working on a case, and they only have 3 investigators. And so we look at this as a win situation all the way around, because it takes something else off the plate of the troopers that may need to go further south to help sheriffs down there. So. Roye? Thank you all for coming. There's some extra news release copies up